Kia ora and welcome to another edition of Big Boys Boxing Live. Be sure to smash that thumbs up button on your way in and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss future content. If you'd like to become part of the panel, come and have your say, give your opinion, you're most welcome to. All you need to do is send me a private message on Discord and I'll send you a link, get you on. So without further ado, let's do this. Mic working now? Yeah, that's better. Sorry, I'll have my mic plugged into the audio only. So welcome to Big Boys Boxing. I'll start again. The fight hasn't started yet, or the card hasn't started yet. The stream I'm watching is still showing football. Or soccer. Boring as shit.
We got L Dog in the house. Buddy Aces in the house. Sup, fellas? Good to have you in. Just do me a audio check, make sure it's all good now. Buddy Aces in. Yeah, it's working. So as you can hear, I got a bit of background noise today. Kids are around. Missus is out of bed. Got myself a cup of tea. No, I'm not English. I just don't drink coffee. Never have, never will. Wow, actually, I've had about 10, maybe 20 coffees in my life. Younger days, being extremely hungover and shit. You know how it is. L Dog says Philip Hergovic beats the big hype job Daniel Dubios. I don't know, man. For me, that's number one and number two prospect fight. Be hard to pick a winner for me right now. Daniel Dubios made some solid improvements. Like 12 months ago, I would have picked Hergovic easy. So I'm not so sure, but definitely a fight I want to see. Not far down the line, to this afternoon even, there's going to be like the number 3 prospect, or number 3 or number 4 prospect, in Efra Jagba fighting. He'll be fighting Yago Calzaghe. I think it's a toss-up between Efra Jagba and Tony Yoka for number 3 and number 4 spots on the prospect list for me. But that's just me. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I guess we can have some random chat for now. Dan, did anyone see Julio Cesar Jr. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. quit yesterday against Danny Jacobs? And that dude's a waste of space. Danny Jacobs comes up to 168 to fight. First fight up there. And this motherfucker comes in at 173 pounds, almost a cruiserweight. And he still can't beat Daniel Jacobs. He quits on a stool. He says he has a broken hand. It's not the first time he's quit either. Still yet to confirm that it was a broken hand, actually. But I imagine the zone will be wanting to confirm that it was a broken hand before they give him all of his purse. Because as it was, he came in overweight against a guy who's coming up from a 160. I mean, shit. And he still can't perform. It wasn't for a belt or anything because of the weights. So, that dude needs a good kick up the ass. You can see the look on his father's face. Julio Cesar Jr. Julio Cesar Sr. was there. And the look on his face, he was disgusted that his son quit. You know, back in his day, if he had broken his hand, he still would have carried on. But, yeah, Chavez Jr. doesn't deserve to be paid, in my opinion. He's made a habit of it. He's made a dick of himself. I mean, it looks like most of Mexico has disowned the little shit. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, been writing daddy's name all his career, and then he turns around and does this for the second time. What a wanker. Yeah, Junior is a disgrace. Laugh my ass off, says L Dog. For sure, G. Kalnaki vs Ruiz. Rumored, yeah. That's a good fight and it's easy to make since they're both PBC. did see Dillian White pipe up yesterday and chuck Ruiz in his hit list. It's also a good fight, but not if Andy Ruiz comes in at 280 plus. That dude's got to cut that shit out. I'm interested to see what he comes in at his next fight. To see if he's serious about this boxing business or what. But there was a few on Dillian White's hit list. He talked about who else did he have on there? Michael Hunter, Alexander Povetkin, a few others. Funny enough, didn't mention Joseph Parker. Why is that, Dillian? Lucky to get out of that one with a win, weren't you? That's why. I see Joseph Parker's number 2 in the WBO now, right behind Usyk. Interesting, they've bumped him up there. I mean, they dropped Tyson Fury out because he's signed for fights, and he's the mandatory for the WBC, so he's not eligible for a potential title fight this round for the WBO anyway. I'm just gonna go and have a quick look at the rankings and see where they've got some fighters in particular in that governing body. What do we got here? WBO. Alexander Usyk. Joseph Parker number 2. Adam Kovnarski number 3. Andy Ruiz Jr. number 4. Daniel Dubios number 5. Shit, he shot right up, and he's got this fight coming, so that might boost him even higher yet. Still got Junior Fire at 6. I believe he was 7 before. That dude, I think, is just sitting around waiting for someone to give him a voluntary shot. He's not fighting anybody inside top 15's full stop, so I'm not impressed with him at the moment. Michael Hunter at number 7 after his draw with Alexander Povetkin. I was hoping they might run that back. I think Michael Hunter could have done better in that fight. His volume was less than usual. He maybe started too quick. He doesn't usually start that quick. Anyway, moving on, we've got Evgeny Romanov at number 8. Derek Cesar at number 9. He wasn't even in the WBO rankings before, or maybe he was down at 15 or 14 or something. We got Zhili Zhang at number 10. Hopefully he can get a fight against a decent opponent next. He did get Andre Rudenko last time out at the last minute. Went the distance with him. But nobody stops Rudenko anyway, so yeah, Zhili Zhang could have looked a bit better in that fight. Frank Sanchez is back in the rankings at number 11 with the WBO. Tom Schwartz at 12. Dempsey McKean, the Aussie boy, at number 13. Philip Hrgovic at 14. Shit, he's down there, isn't he? After beating a 2-time world title challenger and Eric Molina. Kyotaro Fujimoto's in at 15. Maybe that's got something to do with Frank Wong, because he only had a WBA ranking before. Where was he? WBA, he was number 13, I believe. Let's see if he's still there. Yeah, he's still at number 13 with the WBA as well. So yeah, Joseph Parker looking bright for him to get a title shot. If a belt gets vacated, he'll be Johnny on the spot. I just was over and have a look, see if the stream is running again. Yeah, come on. Still got boring ass sock on. Right. Back to the chat. Yeah, Hergovic only a spot above Fujimoto. Pretty sad from the WBO, but I don't know. Like I said, I think Fujimoto's only in there because of Frank Warren. We all know he has some influence with the WBO. Him and Bob Arum pretty much own that governing body for some reason. It's either they pretty much own it, or they're the only two who really give a shit about it and petition for their fighters, whereas the others just don't really recognize it properly, maybe. But yeah, like I said, that's what it is, man. That's what it is. Let's see Huey Fury's fight. Not Huey. Tommy Fury's fighting a nobody. First fight on the card. I don't know if that's already been. I did see there was an undercard stream around, but it's still got the soccer on it. And this cup of tea tastes good. Had a few brewskis last night, getting into the holidays. Kids' goddamn Santa movies going nuts on TV at the moment. The Santa Claus and Fred Claus last night. Happy joy. What's up, Tommy Temper in the house? Good to have you in, brother. The card hasn't started on the stream I'm watching yet, so just a bit of random chat for now. Excuse my ignorance, but what is WGAF? Something as fuck. Yeah, what's WGAF, Stella? Let my ignorant old ass know. Don't worry, you won't get timed out for any swear words. I don't think I've got any filters on the live chat either. Or some early predictions. Come on, guys, let us know. Fujimoto versus Dubois. I've got round 2. Daniel Dubois by murder, pretty much. Fujimoto's nothing more than a fart and a win when it comes to elite level fighters, in my opinion. He's been hanging around there for a while in the rankings, in and out, holding on to these regional belts, fighting nobodies. But if you're gonna get knocked clean the fuck out by a rugby league player in Solomon Hamono, you don't belong. You don't belong, man. 4 rounds. Wow. That's generous, Tommy. But yo, it's all good. He may surprise us, man. He may. I know he can punch, but he still fights in a kickboxing stance, straight up and down, with his chin up in the air, quite often hands low. So, man, I don't see Fujimoto getting out of round 2. Gareth Hancock in the house as well. What up, brother? Yeah, he has been fighting guys he shouldn't be fighting as a heavyweight, we'll put it that way. He's even fighting the same guy that he beat before for a regional belt last time out, I believe. So it's a bit sad, man, a bit sad. But you can't blame Dubois for this fight. WBC Silver Belt is on the line. I don't understand how that's even possible either, because I don't believe Fujimoto's in the WBC rankings whatsoever. I would go check my facts on that. Give me a sec, yo. Where is Fujimoto in the WBC? We'll start from the bottom, because that's likely where he's supposed to be. Ajit Kabial at 15, Kibret Pule 14, Derek Cesar 13, Michael Hunter 12, Joe Joyce 11, Philip Hergovic 10, Joseph Parker 9, Adam Kovnarski 8, Andy Ruiz Jr. 7, 6 is Alexander Povetkin. Man, he ain't even in the WBC rankings, so how do they justify putting the WBC Silver Bell on the line? We'll continue just through the rest. We've got Luis Ortiz at 5, Oscar Rivas at 4, Alexander Usyk at 3, Tyson Fury 2, Dillian White at number 1. Now, Oscar Rivas being in at number 4 is due to him kicking up a stink about the gloves issue at the WBC convention recently. And that's another fight that I wouldn't mind seeing, is Oscar Rivas versus Andy Ruiz Jr., who isn't 280 plus. They've fought before in the amateurs at the Pan Am Games, I think it was, in the US for the Olympic qualifiers, and Oscar Rivas won that fight, so I'm sure Andy Ruiz would like to get a little bit of revenge. Maybe that's enough motivation to stop him eating donuts, tacos, and fat ass food. But yeah, Andy Ruiz. See, Dillian White's hanging that carrot out there for him. Trying to get a fight with him. And I could see PBC letting Ruiz fight Dillian White because of that mandatory position. If he could get hold of that mandatory position, the PBC would have control over who's challenging for the WBC title. We'll see what happens there, man. We'll see what happens. Dubios isn't even in the WBC rankings. That's correct. I didn't even notice. Actually, didn't I say his name? Let's see. Kabial, Pulev, Cesar, Hunter, Joyce Hergovic, Parker Kalnecki. No, he ain't. So how the fuck do they justify putting the WBC Silver Belt on the line? Maybe it's something to do with Frank Warren and Al Heyman starting to work together a bit with this Fury fight. They've got something going on there, convinced the WBC that Daniel Dubios is the next generation's world champion, and they want a piece of that pie nice and early, maybe. Try and get some of that UK poundage. I don't know, man. Sounds dodgy as fuck to me. Check the stream again. Oh, we got some boxing coming on now. Yeah, we do. The show's just starting on the stream. Yes, I'm watching a stream. Can't really get a lot of boxing down here in New Zealand, so I don't have a choice. You could probably find the stream if you really wanted to look for it. I'm watching it on VIP League, but you can also get it on VIP Box, VIPbox.live. You got a few pop-ups to deal with. To get into the stream, but once you're in, it's easy peasy lemon squeezy. So, just looking at the schedule that they've got on here. What do we got? We've got Sonny Edwards. David Anderley, don't know who the fuck that is. Yeah, so they're just chatting yet. So, According to BoxRec, Tommy Fury was first, but you know how it is. They sometimes have them in different orders on there. Tommy Fury fighting the guy who's 2-26 or some shit. Why fucking bother? I guess he needs a warm back in fight after his Love Island experience. Yeah, we know. Hrgovic v Rivas. I don't know about that one, man. I mean, Rivas is tough, but putting him a 6-foot fighter in there with a guy who's 6'6" plus is starting to get a bit of a long reach for Rivas when it gets that far distance and height and reach, you know. So I'd rather see Rivas fight somebody like a Calzaghe or Ruiz. I mean, Dillian White or Joseph Parker at 6'4" are probably pushing the limits for him. Starts getting to the point where he's looking like Tyson Fury fighting Andy Ruiz, almost a foot difference. Just doesn't seem fair to me. I'm sure Oscar Rivas would be keen for the fight though. But that height disparity, I think it'd just be too much, and Hrgovic could beat him from a distance. Probably stop him 7 or 8 rounds, something like that. It's just my thoughts, so yeah. But yeah, our dog, we know you absolutely love Filip Hrgovic. I like the dude as well. I think he's going to be a future world champion. He's young enough. He's got some pretty good experience against some of the best boxers from the amateurs. I think he even beat some of them, got ripped off. I thought he beat Tony Yoka at the Olympics. I thought that was a total rip-off. Even when he fought Joe Joyce in the World Series of Boxing, I thought it was a close call. The fight could have gone either way, but they gave it to Joyce. And don't forget, at the time, Filip Hrgovic was only 19 years old, so he spent a lot of time in Vladimir Klitschko's camps and whatnot in the past as well. Dude's got a very, very good pedigree. Or Cesar versus Usyk. When's Cesar versus Usyk gonna be announced? When the fuck it's made? It's not made yet. I mean, I think the hold-up will be Alexander Usyk's team. Sure, Eddie Hearn wants him to face Cesar, but Eddie Hearn's only the co-promoter for Alexander Usyk, remember? If Usyk and his primary promoter... Lockie, stop jumping on the couch. Sorry. If Usyk's primary promoter and himself would rather have a shot at a vacant belt, a potentially easier fight than fighting Anthony Joshua, if they think they could maybe beat Joseph Parker, get that strap and then ask for a bigger piece of the pie against Joshua or whoever's holding the WBO belt at the time, then that's what they'll do. Eddie Hearn doesn't have all the power with Usyk. He's just a co-promoter. He's only on like a 4-fight deal. The first was Tony Bellew. And the second was what's his name? Spoon guy. Can't remember his name. So yeah, Derek Chisora could get left down in the cold yet, depending on what Usyk's primary promoter wants to do. He might end up fighting Joseph Parker in February yet. That's why Eddie Hearn came out a couple of weeks ago saying that the Joseph Parker Derek Chisora fight is still a possibility. We'll see what happens though. Any of those fights that get made, I'm happy with. Cesar versus Usyk, Cesar versus Joshua, Parker versus Usyk, Parker versus Cesaro, Parker versus Hunter. I don't care. Any of those group of heavyweights should all be fighting each other, and if they do, I'm happy, man. Witherspoon, that's his name. Thanks. Excuse the noise. My 4-year-old autistic boy is what he is. There's no change in him. He makes lots of noise. So, deal with it. Let's have a look, see if we've got a fight on this broadcast yet. Announcing. Alright, y'all, I'm going to turn this music off for now, so I can turn some sound on the event, but I will have to turn my desktop volume off so I don't get copyrighted. Sorry, team. Desktop volume is off on my Streamlabs. Now I can go and turn on the volume on the broadcast, and you guys shouldn't be able to hear it. Let me know if it comes through loud and clear with the broadcast volume. Alright, Joel, so can you let me know in the chat if you can hear the event? You shouldn't be able to. Yeah, 20 punches over 7 rounds isn't a lot, is it? But at the same time, you know, when you're up against a lower level opponent, sometimes you don't do your best defensive work because you don't respect them. Should be good, you reckon, Tommy? You'd probably hear it pretty low, I suppose. Okay, the fight that's on now is Sonny Edwards. So I'm jumping between windows here, y'all, so I'll jump back to the chat every now and then, see what's going on. But bring up the event on BoxRec so I can get all the names correct. Daniel Dubios. Triple D. Daniel Dynamite Dubois. It doesn't come up on BoxRec. Well, fuck you then. I'll put on Kyotaro Fujimoto. Kyotaro Fujimoto. It's only fucking one of them on BoxRec. Funny that. 21-1, one loss by stoppage to Solomon Mono via knock the fuck out. Holy shit, there was only like 4 fights on the card yesterday, now there's heaps. Okay, we've got some results up already. So, yeah, it must have been the undercard. Here we go. Sonny Edwards. Super flyweight. And he is fighting Marcel blah 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 Braithwaite, who's 9-1, so it could be a half decent fight. Super flyweight, not exactly my cup of tea. That's why I'm called Big Boys Boxing. Not necessarily just heavyweights, but the bigger weights are the ones I want to watch. So Tommy Fury hasn't fought yet by the looks of it. And I'm not even going to bother trying to pronounce the name of the guy he's fighting. Holy McMolly, that first name looks Polish or something. But yeah, he's 2-26, the opponent, so he won't be worth watching either. So let's go back to YouTube and just chat with you guys for a while. Because that's caca. 4 days noticed. I don't expect to. Yeah, I don't know why they left it so late. I guess they were trying to find an opponent for him, but they weren't paying enough to get the opponent they wanted, or maybe they're scared. That's sarcasm, by the way. I don't believe there's very many boxers on the planet that are scared to get in the ring against anybody. If you're a scary fighter, then you're not a fighter. You shouldn't really be taking boxing seriously in the first place. So, is what it is. Hey, I wonder if there's any more fights announced for the Fury wildcard in February yet. I'll have a look at that. So really, if they're going to make that pay-per-view and they want to do 2 million buys, then they're going to have a very stacked card. Deontay Wilder box rec. What we got here? I think they've actually got a confirmed venue yet. Oh, they do now. It wasn't there before. Oh no, Las Vegas. That's all they got. Doesn't say where. There was talk of the MGM event. Nah, no other fights on the card yet. That's dumb. One fight I've been talking about, spreading the word, hoping that it might get out to Lou DiBella, Al Heyman. I want to see Germaine Franklin face Hemi the Heat Ahio. I think that's a great fight. Germaine Franklin's been lackluster in a few of his last fights, not getting rid of guys that he should have been getting rid of. Hemi Ahio's been fighting under Junior Farr on the cards for Lou DiBella Entertainment, but he's been a hell of a lot more exciting than Junior Farr. So get him in there. Let's test Germaine Franklin, see if he is a decent prospect or not. Because if he's not, Hemi will find him out. Hemi will knock him clean the fuck out if he doesn't box properly. Oh, of course, there's a chance Franklin could knock out Hemi as well. Hemi's been down a few times in his career, but he always gets up and he comes back and wins. If you haven't seen it already, go and watch Alapati Asa versus Hemi the Heat Ahio. Hemi got knocked down and went down to a knee. Asa smacked him, knocked him properly while he was on his knee. The ref didn't do shit. Then Hemi got up and knocked him clean the fuck out. Exciting fighter, man. I love Hemi at the moment. Hey. Joseph Scott in the house. Good to have you, brother. It's been a bit. Been a minute. The difference is Usyk landed 138 punches. While only taking 20. Yeah. And that comes, like I was saying earlier, even those 20 punches he took, because he didn't respect his opponent whatsoever, his defense may not have been as good, or he wasn't using as much defense. He's just trying to get some work in. And with Witherspoon, I think that was always going to be the case. I still would have rather seen Carlos Takam. I think that was an awesome fight. But Takam kind of fucked that up when he went and signed with another promotional company. So Eddie Hearn couldn't double dip. It's always a way to lose the potential of being in the ring in a good fight. If you go and sign under another promoter, was it Star Boxing or something you went and signed for? So it is what it is, man. Sup, Chris the Bruin in the house. Good to have you in, brother. Just a casual stream today. As you can hear, there's a bit of background noise. Sonny Edwards is fighting at the moment. So, not much going on yet. Just a bit of random boxing talk. If anybody wants to bring up a subject, put it at type Big Boys Boxing, and I'll see the comment a lot easier if you want to ask a question. And yeah, what's this? Usyk versus Zora, and then Usyk versus Parker. If he wins both. Favour him to beat AJ. I don't know, man. That's a big call. Yeah. I'd still pick Alexander Usyk to beat Parker. I mean, it goes without saying for me, he beat Cesar. Of course, there's a possibility Cesar could stop Usyk in the first 6. He's got a big punch, but if he doesn't do it by 6 rounds, he ain't going to do it. Not a shit show. But Parker's a different kettle of fish. He's fairly, well, probably the second quickest top tier heavyweight on the planet, but he has better feet than the fastest hands, if you know what I mean, because I think Andy Ruiz does have the fastest hands, but he ain't got the feet to go with it. So Usyk Parker, I think, is a very competitive fight. I'd still pick Usyk slightly, but it's possible Parker could beat Usyk, and the lure of possibly getting a second shot at Anthony Joshua could be motivation enough for him to get his dog out, if you know what I mean. There's a lot depends on how much Usyk how much weight Usyk's going to put on too. You know, he's been talking about putting on more weight for his next fight after Witherspoon, so you could see him up around 230 pounds. He might be a very similar weight to Joseph Parker. And the question then is going to be, what's it going to do to Usyk's speed? Is it going to do anything? Is it going to lower his stamina with more muscles to feed oxygen? You know, there's a lot of unknowns. Usyk beating AJ, I'm not so sure about that either. I would still pick AJ in that fight as of right now. Probably pick him on points. I don't think he stops Usyk. I think Usyk's got a very good chin, but he's very evasive, and more so when he's facing elite opponents, he can turn it up. So it's a big web to weave at the moment with what's going to happen. You know, Eddie Hearn's got letters in with the IBF and the WBO to see if he can stretch out the WBO a couple more months so they can get AJ versus Pulev in April. But then we need May, June, July, maybe late August, early September. Try and get the WBO in. But like I was saying earlier, a lot of that's going to depend on what Usyk and his primary promoter want to do. Do they want to go straight into a big money fight against Anthony Joshua and wait a little bit longer, maybe take a bit of step aside money, or do they want to take a perceived easier fight to get hold of a belt against maybe Parker and then ask for a bigger slice of the pie against Joshua? So it's all going to depend on what Usyk and his primary promoter want to do. Usyk has the fastest hands and feet at heavyweight. Maybe L-Dog. I don't know. Yeah. If you stood Andrew Ruiz and Alexander Usyk next to each other with a sensor punch bag, Usyk probably does throw more punches in combination when he wants to, but I guarantee you they don't hurt as much as Andrew Ruiz's punches. So, the power with the speed wins it out for me when it comes to hand speed. But foot speed at elite level, I think you're probably right with the feet at least. I think he does have the quickest feet. I'm sure there's boxers out there that do have quicker feet than him, but they're not elite. Elite for me is top 10. Or even top 5 is probably elite. So, I don't even think Alexander Usyk is a top 5 heavyweight at this stage. He may be in many's opinion, but that's all it is at this stage. It's not proven at heavyweight. Based on the Witherspoon performance, you can't base a lot on that. Yeah, can't see Usyk going far at heavyweight. Yo, go watch him fight Joe Joyce in the WSOB World Series of Boxing. Go watch him fight Junior Farr in the World Series of Boxing. He's fought big guys before who are ranked at this stage, and this was years ago. So, the talent is there. He can do it at heavyweight. But Witherspoon, you can't take too much from that fight. You don't see the best out of a fighter when the opponent is shit. putting it nicely. So I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. That's for sure. No, son. I'm busy streaming right now. Give me a sec. I'll be back in a minute. Alright, y'all. I'm back. That's what we got. Yeah. I seen that Joe Joyce was much better in that fight. Oh, Joyce is very predictable for sure. I mean, it's slow. The dude's slower than a fucking wet week. Always has been. I haven't seen any improvement from Joe Joyce whatsoever since he turned pro. He's been spent too long in the amateurs and got too stuck in his ways. He's a weird dude to watch. You know, he does capoeira, looks all fluid and nimble when he's doing that, but then when he starts boxing, it's like he gets switched off. He turns into a stiff, slow, thudding robot. He can't change. He's too old. He spent too long. But yeah, I think a better one to watch is the Junior Far one, because Junior Far's got a bit of hand speed. He can move his feet as well. But you know, I've heard Junior in interviews say that's the hardest fight he ever fought in his career as a pro and an amateur, because he just couldn't hit Usyk. And this is coming from a guy who's got some hand speed. He's 6'5" or 6'5.5" or something like that. So I think you could take a lot more from that fight, even though it was years ago. But then once again, at heavyweight, it's going to come back to if Usyk puts on more weight, is he still going to have as much speed? Is he still going to have as good a footwork with an extra 15 pounds on? I don't know, man. Lots of questions to be answered. But Usyk's, you know, he spent a lot of time in Vladimir Klitschko's camps as well, so there's a lot of pedigree there as well. Don't forget, he beat Evander Holyfield's record to become undisputed, and he's trying to do the same thing going to heavyweight. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I really like Usyk and I'd like to see him succeed, but when it comes to fighting the elite guys that have been pros for a few years, that are 6'6" plus, particularly someone like Tyson Fury, I think could be a real problem for Usyk, because he's got some decent speed, and the reach disadvantage for Usyk is huge when he's fighting a guy who's 6'8", 6'9", who can move. That sort of thing could be a problem. Prior to Joshua fighting Ruiz the second time round, and him doing all those things that most of us thought he couldn't do, I would have said, yeah, Usyk's got a really good chance of beating AJ. But then now AJ's implemented more tools. He's shown he can move. He's got a bit of stamina. He can control range a bit better. Yes. I don't know if he could beat AJ as well. A lot of questions could possibly be answered if he does fight Derek Chisora and puts a bit more weight on, or even if he fights Joseph Parker with a bit more weight on. There's always going to be that reach problem with the elites and the bigger boys, the 6'6" pluses.
Like when I broke my fingers.
Fury has that scar tissue that everyone should target. Yep, that's just it. Sorry, just talking to my other son here for a second. You all sorted there, bud?
Yep.
Alright.
Oh, now it's out.
Sorry for the interruptions, y'all. But this is life. School holidays. I've got 2 kids. One's 6, one's 4, one's autistic. So, it is what it is. Am I a Parker fan? Yeah, I am a Parker fan. I can't help not be a Parker fan, but I'm not a Parker fan boy. Big difference. I picked AJ to beat him when they fought the first time. I think Parker could have done a lot better in that fight, but he seemed to not. He could have done better in the Huey Fury fight as well, I thought. Pretty tough to say he could have done much better in the Dillian White fight because he got concussed from a head clash that was never picked up by the referee. I want to see that fight run back. But yeah, I'm not a Parker fanboy. I'm realistic when it comes to what I think he can and can't do. So there's your answer, Buddy Aces. Who's your fight and fight? Or who's my fighter and fighter of the year?
Oh la la.
Well, my fight of the year this year.
Oh la la.
What to think about that one, man?
Oh la la. Yay. You can see my underwear. You can see my
My fight of the year. Shit. That's tough, man. I gotta think, make sure I get the fights that was this year. My fighter of the year is Hemiahio. Easy. I'm really loving that dude at the moment. He's exciting. He'll fight anybody. He ain't scared of nothing. He's entertaining as shit. But my fight of the year, I don't know. Thurman Pacquiao maybe. Spence Porter was a pretty damn good fight too. Trying to think of a really good heavyweight dust up this year. But there hasn't really been many that I can think of. Just off the top of my head, but it's Sunday morning and I had a few brews last night, so a little bit impeded maybe. I'll continue to think about that one, Gareth, and see if I can think of one. I think Parker can beat Usyk, buddy. I'm not saying he will. I'd probably still pick Usyk slightly at this stage, but I certainly think Parker can beat Usyk. Ruiz, AJ, nah, I didn't think any of them were a spectacular fight. I mean, the second one was a bit lacking action. The first one was interesting to watch. But once AJ took that big shot in the third, it was just a matter of time. It was kind of drawn out. I thought Ruiz could have jumped on him and finished him earlier, but he didn't. When it was Kovnarski Martin, that was last year, wasn't it? Because that was a cracker of a fight, man. Yeah, man, I can't think of anything off the top of my head. There's some action going on in this broadcast. Someone just landed a big right hand. Gotta go and have a quick look. Sonny Edwards got knocked down by the sounds of it. Let's see a replay here. This guy Braithwaite. Just watching a knockdown here. Ooh, big right hand. Oh, yeah. Oh, followed by a left hook. Oh, that snapped his head back bad. Then the left hook snapped it back again. Sonny Edwards was lucky to get up after that. Oh, weh. They're in between rounds at the moment. What round are we up to? Seconds out. Eight rounds out of 12, so moving on after that. Hopefully it'll be Hughie Fury next. He should get rid of his opponent within a round, considering he's 2-26. Back to the chats. Oh, that was a good fight that I've just thought of. Ali Arantamirezin versus Efer Jagbar. That was a good dust-up, man. Ali Arantamirezin can actually fight. It was the first time I've actually seen him fight. So I was quite surprised. I think Efer Jagbar was pretty surprised too. I'm pretty sure that was this year.
How long are you going to be doing this for?
Alright, y'all, so something's come up. I'm going to have to go in and out for the stream. But for now, I'm just going to mute myself. And you guys can continue chatting. But I'll hopefully jump back in while when the main event comes back on. So, yeah, I'll jump in and out when I can. Actually, I might just come back when the main's on and do a quick stream then, so sorry team. Shit happens, it's life. I'll be back a bit later.